Good afternoon, buenas tardes, and welcome. We'll start in a few minutes. We have a lot to share, so I'll give people 1 or 2 minutes to log in and we'll get started. Good afternoon, buenas tardes, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am Patricia Lozano, the Executive Director of Early Edge California. Early Edge is an advocacy and policy organization committed to supporting California's youngest learners and their teachers, caregivers, and families. As many of you know, Governor Newsom and the California State Legislature included funding in the state budget to expand transitional kindergarten. One of Early Edge's biggest priorities is supporting the successful implementation of expanding TK for all 4-year-olds in California. With that in mind, Early Edge has completely redesigned and updated our website, TKCalifornia, to provide resources on TK to parents, teachers, and school administrators. Today, we're joined by early learning champions and practitioners from across the state to hear about their experiences with TK and to share more about the benefits and opportunities that TK provides. We are also excited to share a brief demonstration of the redesigned TK California website and hope that it will serve as a valuable resource for the early learning community. Before we get started, I wanted to share a little more about our session format today. We will provide a recording of today's webinar to all participants later this week, along with a survey so you can share your feedback on the website. Though we will not have time for a formal Q&A today, we will do our best to answer any question from the survey directly via email after the presentation. We are so pleased and honored to have an amazing panel of guest speakers with us today to share about their experiences with TK. We have Stephanie Ceminsky from San Diego Unified School District, followed by Lourdes Salazar, a longtime TK teacher from LAUSD, Aisha Foster, a TK parent, and finally from Paula Merrigan, a TK teacher and Early Edge California consultant. So let's get started. Early Edge is delighted to welcome back Stephanie Ceminsky. Stephanie is the Director of Early Learning Programs at San Diego Unified School District. She's also a member of our Early Edge LEA professional learning community and an amazing leader and innovator in the TK space. We're so lucky to have you, Stephanie. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Patricia and Early Edge, for having me. I'm so delighted to share my story and share different successes we've had in San Diego Unified. First of all, I'd like to say that Universal Transitional Kindergarten has been a major victory. As Assemblymember Kevin McCarty shared, it's the biggest thing we've ever done. And I can truly say that. It was about 3 years ago where we dreamed big in what we wanted to achieve. And San Diego began implementing universal access for 4-year-old children within our TK classrooms in 2021. And our goal was to put students on a developmental trajectory towards kindergarten readiness. Our success is attributed to the intentional way we approached the implementation of universal transitional kindergarten to make greater impact. As we looked at this challenge, we found that there was no magic formula. There was no single explanation for success. There was very few resources that I had access to help us guide our way. And so through our research, we found that many breakthrough innovations could be traced back to a more beautiful question or a series of questions that have been formulated and answered. And so with curiosity in and of itself, gave rise to 3 central questions that helped guide us through the implementation of our program. So the first thing that we asked ourselves was, where is there leadership working in the system around our students? Because we needed to begin the implementation. So knowing that teacher quality is the #1 predictor relating to student achievement, San Diego Unified focused on the strength in our leaders. And so impact for our students is achieved through our leveraged expertise of our co-teaching model, where educators co-plan, co-facilitate, and co-assess together for positive student outcomes. This dynamic environment draws on each other's strengths as educators that know structure, content, and developmental needs. This leadership capacity is also supported through our specially designed professional development and workforce pipelines. Principals and teachers have the opportunity to attend specifically designed learning sessions geared towards their individual growth and development. So we have a principal series, we have central office professional development series, educator series, para-educator series. And for example, session titles include the roles, responsibilities, and expectations in the UTK classroom, communication and confidence in our students, inclusive settings, and classroom conditions, physical and interactive events. We also built partnerships with universities to recruit, retain, and develop our workforce. Employees will have the opportunity to earn credentials, degrees, and certificates while working full-time. The district extends its support through specially designed San Diego cohorts, where our employees will begin the program together and end together. We formatted specially designed PLC study groups and also peer mentors. The one extra addition that we're very proud of with our pipeline is that the University of La Verne, who we've partnered with, allows our leadership, our principals, vice principals, central office leadership to co-teach with the faculty from La Verne. So not only do our educators get the professional growth and development that they need for the UTK classroom, but also our leaderships gets the experience of facilitating and leading the work for our own district. One of the new initiatives for 22-23 is our peer collaboration network. And this is where we team up principals to support the implementation of sharing ideas together. So maybe a principal that has a ton of experience with early learning would be partnered with a new principal and the first time experiencing the setting. The next question we asked ourselves was, how equitable and inclusive are our best practices? And so leading with equity and access, San Diego began implementation among our 55 Title I priority schools. So in 2021 and 21-22, we led with UTK, or TK4 as we called it, in our Title I schools. And due to its success, San Diego Unified has made this investment to expand across the entire district in 118 schools for next year. Parents overwhelmingly have endorsed our program. Schools would reach capacity within 24 hours, and families connected with their school and would often express how they were looking forward to the siblings attending as well. And I did receive a request last week from a parent that had a child that was 2 years old and they wanted to reserve a space. Our program also supports full inclusion with the least restrictive environment and offers dual language immersion programs at varied sites. With a full day of learning and an easy application site-based process, all families will have the opportunity for their child to participate in UTK. As we noticed, our questions were becoming often more valuable than our answers. So as we were planning to expand our program across 118 sites, we thought, how do we as a district, as a large district, come together collectively with our actions to reflect and support our students and their progress? Our educators made certain that our intentional curriculum was integrated among the developmental domains, aligned with the California Learning Preschool Foundations and the state standards. Classrooms are filled with creativity, curiosity, interest, movement, and purposeful play. In addition, whole and small groups focused on early literacy, math concepts, and STEM. UTK teachers met with kindergarten teachers regularly to share and vertically articulate the data. We also have a teacher evaluation system called E3, and one of the more innovative sites actually had the kindergarten teachers and the UTK teachers co-design goals and meet with the principal on progress monitoring of these goals. So that way they were in alignment and tracking our students in watching their success. Our collective approach also includes our educational community partners, Head Start, in districts throughout California. As Henry Ford stated, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is a success. And we are very, very proud of our UTK program.
We are so lucky to have leaders like you, Stephanie. Thank you for all the work you do for our kids and their families. Next, I would like to welcome Lourdes Salazar, who is a TK teacher here at Willow Elementary in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'll hand it over to you, Lourdes.
Thank you, Patricia. And again, thank you to Early Edge for inviting me. Everything Stephanie said is just validates what we've been doing here in LAUSD for so many years. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my journey as a TK teacher. And this began back in 2010. I was part of a pilot program with LAUSD where we began taking student volunteers into this program. And the first year that I had that class, I had 21 families register their children into transitional kindergarten. Prior to teaching transitional kindergarten, I had taught kindergarten for several years. And before that, I had taught SRLDP, which was like a preschool program. Soon after teaching kinder for several years, I realized kindergarten was becoming more and more academically driven. And so I was ready for a change. And I when the grant came out for transitional kindergarten in 2010, I thought it would be perfect. It would be perfect to see how we can change what young children would be doing in the classrooms. So I wanted to be part of something new, and working with young children, I knew, and many of people that work with them know, that play is a big role in their learning. Purposeful play, like Stephanie said earlier, is so important. And that's what I wanted for these children. So we started the program, like I said, with 21 students, and it was focused on developing the whole child, not just their academic, but more importantly, their social, emotional, and focusing on growth and fine motor skills. Throughout the years, I fell in love with the program. I can't believe it's already been 12 years that I've been teaching transitional kinder here in LAUSD, and it has grown. Now there's one transitional kindergarten program in all schools, and most schools have full or almost full transitional kindergarten program. What part of being in the transitional kindergarten world has taught me that I had to get to know how to teach with early younger students, right? So in the process, I took courses through LMU to obtain a transitional kindergarten certificate. And in that program, I learned the importance of parent involvement, the importance of assessments in the classroom, and the importance of the curriculum, and ensuring that there was whole group, small group, and more than anything, student-based learning, so that the children would be able to select what they were doing and how their growth was, how they were growing in TK. I was excited. I've been teaching that model where it's small group, where we go through centers and we focus on the whole child. So when students come in, we see where they're at, what strengths they bring in, and how we help them grow individually. Now, I have been lucky to have a full-time paraprofessional in my classroom, and I am so happy with this new state law that all TK classrooms will begin having 12-to-1 ratio. So implementing small group instruction is going to be more feasible for teachers that haven't had that opportunity. It's been so my next question was, what do I say to people that want to teach, and why should you teach transitional kindergarten? So children come to school to learn, and they're so happy. And I feel that in transitional kindergarten, we have that liberty of teaching children through play focusing on the preschool learning foundations and some of the kindergarten standards. And that center-based learning for the children is the way to go. So there is a lot, like Stephanie mentioned, where we are doing outdoor play, water play, things that have not been happening so much in kindergarten, but the growth in these children has been seen. I'm now currently teaching at a TK through 5th grade school site, and I've seen how my TK students have not only grown and become successful in my classroom, but I see their growth in upper grade and 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and how well they're excelling. And I really do believe it's because we give them that foundation and that gift of time, that extra year for students to grow in all the areas of social, emotional, and build their academics also. What impact has it had on second language, on dual language learners? So I work at predominantly a second language learner school. Most of my children are English language learners. There's a high percentage. For many, many of my students, this is their first schooling experience, and they're scared to come in. But valuing that home language and being able to give them safety at school and know that the teacher, the paraprofessional, we are able to communicate with them in their home language really builds the children's self-esteem. So when they come in here, we sing, we read in both languages, in English and Spanish. For those that don't know it, or begin to learn it. And for those that are learning English, they feel more comfortable when they hear that home language. I am at a dual language school, so most of my children end up going to a dual language program from kinder to 5th grade. And another thing that's super important with transitional kindergarten is building that connection with parents and families and having them see how successful their children can be in school. And this is just the beginning of what they can do in the future. Building and creating relationships with parents and helping them see the importance of what TK is. Just like Stephanie said, in the past 12 years, I've had families really, really excited about how successful their children have been in school, thanks to the transitional kindergarten opportunity they had. And now you start to see the siblings and parents requesting to come into transitional kindergarten. So it's wonderful for us to work with young children that are ready to learn and to teach them how to learn and play and be successful in school at such a young age. So I hope that lots of you decide to teach TK. And one of the big things before I leave is with this toolkit that Early Edge is bringing, there's going to be so many more resources than we had in 2010 when I started. So I'm so excited for what's coming to transitional kindergarten here in the state of California.
Thank you so much, Lourdes, for being here today and for all the work you do for our kids in your classroom. You're my hero, seriously. Every time I hear teachers speak, I'm like, thank you. We really appreciate all the work you do, especially with dual language learners, and make them really be confident about home language and being confident in that first learning experience. So thank you. And, talking about family and parent engagement, I know, that it's so important for the TK experience. We want to share the parent perspective. So we're so pleased to have Aisha Foster joining us today. Hi, Aisha.
Hi, how are you?
Aisha is a parent of several TK graduates and currently has a child enrolled in TK at Compton Unified School District. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to ask a few questions to Aisha so she can share her amazing experience with TK and really answer some of the questions that some parents or teachers may have out there. So to start, can you share about your family and the ages of your kids?
Sure. I have 9 amazing kids. My oldest is 26 and my youngest is 1. My 5-year-old and my 7-year-old are former TK students, and my 4-year-old is currently attending a TK school.
Awesome. Wow. You must be busy.
Yes.
For taking the time to share your experience today.
Yes.
So So on that note, like, tell us about your first experience with TK.
I was one of the parents that was excited when I first heard about TK, to know that my daughter would be getting early head start on learning, such as reading, writing, numbers, and so much more. My daughter would be so excited to go to school to learn all the new things that TK had to offer, to not only teach, but to prepare her for kinder. Sometimes I feel like we were one of the lucky ones. I call it the TK experience. With that being said, TK was more and beyond what I would have ever imagined for my daughter. To get an early head start, it is only truly has been a wonderful journey.
So what made you want to enroll your second daughter in TK? We heard all the good things, but was anything else that you said, okay, so yes, I have another daughter, I really want her to enroll in TK?
Yes, so I wanted to enroll my second daughter, Flower, because I saw all the wonderful things that TK did for my first daughter. It gave her the boost, the confidence that she needed once she entered kinder. She learned to write, to count from 1 to 100. She knew how to read certain words. She wasn't afraid of her first day of kinder. TK really taught her good social skills. TK prepared her in the best way possible. That's why I decided to enroll my second daughter in TK. And now I'm enrolling my 4-year-old son, who is currently attending TK, which is the best decision I have ever made. I couldn't have asked for anything better than TK. It's been such a wonderful experience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So what can you just like tell us a little bit about the things you noticed when your daughter started attending TK? What did you see? What changed?
Well, I know TK did more than prepare my kids for kinder. It gave them a platform to be great in every life has to offer. I wish TK was around for my oldest. I see the difference from when my oldest kids were younger. TK would have been a big help, but I'm glad that I have the TK experience for my younger kids. And it's been the best experience that I love sharing with other parents.
So, you mentioned it a little bit, but do you think TK helped them prepare your kids for kindergarten? And in what ways, can you share a little bit more about that?
You know what, just preparing them for kinder, it gave them such of a boost. It gave them so much more. It gave them so much confidence in themselves. They love being around kids. They love learning. They love reading. I would be in a car with them and they'd just be like, oh, mommy, I know how to spell that word. Oh, I know what this means. I mean, I've seen the energy and everything that TK did for them. And I wish that other parents had what I have. And I'm glad that I'm able to share my TK experience with other parents and teachers and everything. I will recommend this to all the parents. The early head start works.
So, and if you were talking to another parent, like parent to parent, and this parent say like, I don't know what to do, I don't know if I should enroll my child in TK, what would you tell them? What would you tell them if they're having doubts?
I would tell them, go for it. It's like an investment in your kid's future. You won't be disappointed. It's one of the best decisions that I have made for my kids, which I call the TK experience.
Great. Anything else that you want to share that I didn't ask?
I just recommend that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to let your child experience things at a young age, because the learning starts as soon as they're born. You want them to soak up all the information, all the learning that they can soak in their little brains so that they can be whatever they want to be. TK is just such an amazing, I wish I was in TK when I was little. It would have been better for me. But I'm just glad to truly be able to give all of my kids, my little kids, the TK experience. And I know that this was the best decision that I made for them. And I hope the other parents will come on board.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking time from your busy days. I know you are. I've seen your kids around and they're beautiful. I hope they get they continue to be the best. And thank you. Now I am gonna now move to I want to welcome now Paula Merrigan. So Paula is a TK teacher in Castro Valley School District and served as a consultant to Early Edge while we were updating our TKCalifornia website. We're so grateful for Paula and all her amazing work. She's a true, amazing TK champion. We've been working together for a few years. So thank you, Paula. We really appreciate all of your work, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Patricia. It's a pleasure to be here. And stories like Iesha was telling me are just kind of what drive us as TK teachers when we hear such a positive impact that we have in TK with our youngest learners. So thank you, Iesha, for sharing your stories too. So as Patricia said, I'm a TK teacher. I've been teaching TK in Castro Valley since 2010. And just like Lourdes' school, we started early. We started it 2 years before it went into law. We did that because we analyzed some data from our children who were in the higher grades, like 3rd, 4th, 5th, and discovered that our students who struggled the most with literacy were those fall birthdays. And it's just a lot of them just aren't developmentally ready yet. So we started that TK program early, and it was the best thing for some of those kids. We had families, we gave them the option when TK was rolled out. Do you want to put your children in TK or kindergarten if they were a September or October birthday, even when they didn't have to choose that yet, or November? And if sometimes parents were a little leery, and once they did, they would say to me, this is the best thing we ever did for our child. They were really happy with the TK experience. I've never had a parent say, I regret putting my child in TK. Never. And in the 12 years I've been teaching it. So I think that just shows you how important TK is and how valuable families find our TK programs. We do call it the gift of time. You've heard that before, because it gives children time to learn through play. We don't have to go at the pace that kindergarten goes at. TK is not kindergarten. It's a bridge between preschool and kindergarten. So we have slightly different standards. We can go at a slower pace. We don't have the pressure kindergarten has. It's not the same kindergarten parents experienced. Kindergarten today is really more like 1st grade. So this gives kids a chance to maybe have more of an experience that their parents had in kindergarten. It's hard when you're a kindergarten teacher and you see your children crying in class because they can't do something. And you never want your children, we call them our children, your kids are our kids. You never want them to feel like they're a failure. No 5-year-old should ever feel like they are failing something. In TK, we don't have that problem because we can slow down. The kids learn through play. We have what we call, Dr. Stippett calls it purposeful play. And I love that phrase because they are playing with a purpose, and that purpose is to learn, but they're also having fun. Not every child develops the same rate. This gives them that chance to catch up. We find our kids in TK tend to be more of the leaders when they go out to kindergarten, 1st grade, even middle school. I've had parents come back and say, my child's a student body president. They're so much more confident because they went to TK. It allows them to just, especially our shy ones, to just really open up. They go on to kindergarten and they feel successful because they know what to do. They know how to navigate their way through a classroom. It also allows us, I don't know if I said this already, I'm getting off my script. It allows us to move at that slower pace for them. If we need to slow down for them, we can slow down. We don't have a pacing guide. We have to move week by week by week. We can slow down and give them time to really understand what we're teaching. And to parents who still may be a little leery, I always say to them, would you rather have one more year of being a child or one more year of being an adult? I mean, give them this gift of time to be a child for one more year. It's something that they don't regret. Both the parent and the child will have a wonderful experience in TK. Now, I'm going to jump a little bit the consulting for the TKCalifornia website, it was my honor to help out with this project with them. This site I called a one-stop shop. So whether you are a veteran TK teacher or someone considering going into TK or someone who's been told you're teaching TK next year, it's a great place to go. It's easy to navigate. Patricia is going to do a little walkthrough in a little bit to show you how to get around there. You've got the TK standards there that are from the preschool learning foundations that they've broken down into simple little blurbs. It makes it so much easier than looking through 3 thick volumes that the CDE has put out. There are links to NAEYC, the National Association for the Education of Young Children. They have wonderful articles and wonderful resources in there. You'll find it's easy to get around, to navigate from where you want to look up things for social emotional learning, for math, give me ideas for literacy, bookmark it. They're going to continue to update it as TK grows over the children in kindergarten next year. So if you're for everyone, I have it bookmarked. I think you should too. And I know the next step is for Patricia to go over and actually do a demo of the site. So thank you.
Thank you, Paula, as always. We're so grateful for all the work you do. I always love hearing from you. I get so inspired. And your contributions to the updated site were amazing. Thank you, thank you. So now, as Paula mentioned, I am gonna walk you through the new redesigned TKCalifornia website. If you'd like, you can follow along with the demo on the screen by opening a browser window and typing tkcalifornia.org. So first, let's take a look at the main page. Here, you will find a timeline of expanded TK implementation. Here's like the timeline and starting points for administrators, teachers, and parents. You will also see a link to the full resources library. We will come back to that in a minute. Let's go back up to the full menu. Here you will see the site layout. It's a great starting point so you can see what information is available across the website. You'll see that there is a page for upcoming TK events and training, like this webinar, as well as a page for TK news from other organizations and news outlets. Let's take a look at the administrators page. Here you will find guides to communication, facilities, funding, staffing, P2-3 alignment, and co-teaching model. If you click on TK Basics, you will find links to the California Department of Education TK resources, more details on different topics like implementation timelines, class ratios, enrollment, and more. There's a lot to explore on these pages, as you can see. If you scroll back to the top of the page, you can easily move to the next page, in this case, communications, to continue learning. Now, let's take a look at the teachers page. Here, you will find sections broken down by classroom management and developmentally appropriate practice. Let's take a look at dual language learners, one of our favorite topics. In this section, you will find tools and resources for working with dual language learners and their families. You can click on highlighted links throughout the page to go to external resources like this one, the Multilingual Learning Toolkit. You can also click on the yellow buttons throughout the site for downloadable resources such as this one, 5 DLL teaching strategies. Again, you can easily scroll through topics using the navigation arrows at the top of each page. Now let's take a look at the parent page. Here, parents and families will find tips on ways to engage with their children's TK teachers, as well as frequently asked questions. If you click on the FAQ page, you will find answers and guidance to many frequently asked questions for parents like Aisha and others who are new to TK, and like how to enroll your child in TK, updated TK requirements, how to find your school district, teacher qualifications, and more. The new website contains over 125 more resources for administrators, teachers, and parents. If you click on resources, you can search the resource library by audience. Let's say teachers. Topics such as dual language learners or keywords. You will find TK-related research briefs, teaching tools, instructional videos, worksheets, and more. As you can see, we have a lot of content for you to go through, and we hope you do. At the bottom of each page, throughout the website, you can find a sign-up form so you can stay up to date on TK and other early edge activities. Please, we encourage you to do so we can get all the updates, and we will continue to update this website as TK is being implemented. We would love to hear from you. So this concludes our demo today, but we really encourage you to explore the site on your own. As you can see, there is a lot of content to go through. We'll continue to add resources, updates, events, and trainings. So please come back and check it out. We also welcome your feedback on how to make the site more helpful to you. We will follow up directly to answer as many questions as we can. There are several ways to get in touch with Early Edge. So here you can see our contact information, as well as on the website. We will also value your feedback through our post-event survey, which we will share via email along with the recording of today's presentation. Please be sure to complete the survey so we can, really get the best resources out there and hear from you what works for you, because this website is for you. We want to once again thank our guest speakers today, Stephanie, Lourdes, Iesha, and Paula. You were great. Thank you for taking the time today to share your experiences with future and current TK teachers and others who join us today. We are so grateful for all the work you do for our children and families, and are honored to be able to share your perspectives. I also want to thank the Early Edge team for their amazing and great work on our new website and for putting together this event. Thank you, Early Edge. We hope that the new TKCalifornia site will be a valuable resource to you as California begins to expand TK to more 4-year-olds. Please, as I mentioned, we want all teachers, parents, and administrators to use this website. So share it with your networks and let us know how can we continue to support you? How can we share it with more and more teachers and administrators and parents? And then, please go on our website and play with it and let us know what you think. So that's all we have for today. Thank you all again, and hope to see you soon.